I think we're live. This is cool. We haven't done one of these in too long. It's a good chance to debrief everything that went down in Tasmania. Obviously, it was a pretty busy round and lots to talk about. So come and join the live chat. I'm going to give a few people a chance to get amongst it. I'll double check that we are live on Facebook and we'll get some live questions going. It's a good chance to ask the fellas some questions if you want. And we will hopefully be able to answer them on the fly. Let's start with Nick. Where are you today, Nick? What are you doing?
I'm at the full factory J&D headquarters, just prepping go-karts for our final round of AKC.
Yeah, so when's that, buddy?
Not this weekend, next weekend. So, yeah, just all the fun and games of clean them all and prep them all and pick up engines, fit tires. Yeah, it's good. I find it relaxing this part because I've cleaned them all and now I just go along and buff all the polish off them to make sure they look good, and it's kind of like relaxing for me this part.
Nice. I know you've wrapped up one championship there. Do you have anyone else in the hunt come next week?
Ooh, I think Riley Harrison in the juniors is. I'm sure if he can win it. We had a bit of a shocker at Coffs Harbour, but I think he can still finish second in the championship, which is a fair crack. He's fresh out of Cadet 12, first year of juniors, be the youngest on the grid, I think. So,
Wow.
yeah, up until the last round, he was battling for the win, and then we had a bit of a blip in the radar. So he should be able to finish on the podium, I think.
Okay. And Brock, you're giving me serious 2020 E-Series vibes today, man.
Yeah, I'm actually cutting laps while I'm talking now.
What's your
Nick's busy doing stuff and I'm at home sitting on my sim doing a Zoom meeting. So yeah, to be honest, I have just turned it on, but yeah, I just built this not long ago actually, so it's very comfortable to sit in. So
give us a tour. Looks good.
Yeah. What gear?
Well, I can take this might be a bit of a disaster.
Oh, no.
So I've got a supercar wheel out of my car from last year.
Cool.
It's very hard to see,
Ooh.
obviously, but I got the quad monitor set up, got the supercar, got the shifter. My cord's not that long. I got brake bias adjuster and that. And then I've actually got one of the supercar seats. So
There you
go. That's good.
It's pretty cool. I built it a couple of months ago, so been spending a lot of time here recently, which has been good fun. So
that's cool. Good. I hear iRacing's scanning the bend, and Gen 3 cars could be coming soon, and so I think iRacing could be a bit of fun the next few months.
Yeah, it's looking good. Got the bend and then Adelaide 500 later in the year by the looks of it. So pretty cool. I obviously spent a fair bit of time on it, so pretty keen to get those tracks and the new Gen 3, I think, will be pretty interesting. I mean, the supercar now is pretty good, but a few years ago when it came out, it was, probably not the most fun to drive. So hopefully it's a bit better.
So let's chat about Tassie, fellas. Both of you had a really good Saturday, and unfortunately not quite the Sundays you're hoping for. But Nick, you got to bag yourself a race win, so that's never a bad time. What was the flight home from Tassie like? Did you feel pretty positive about it all?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a win in this category, it's definitely positive. And the Saturday race, or both races really, it was just a flat out sprint because there's no real tyre deg there. So yeah, we just drove the wheels off them for 55 laps, and yeah, it was cool that obviously the car was really fast out the box. The boys did a really good job in the prep, and annoying our only bad session for the weekend was quali Sunday, but we just the way the track evolved caught us out. So put a hand up for that. But clearly car's fast to come from Stowe Motherless last to seventh, and probably with another 5 laps you'd be top 5, and I think it was motoring on pretty good. So yeah, definitely got on the plane. Quite happy. Had a nice Monday for Bailey's birthday at a winery in Launceston, and it was it's all good.
Very nice. We obviously know, Brock, what happened on Sunday and the disappointment you must have felt. Does time help with these things? Like 3 days later, is it still smart, or do you start to feel a bit more positive about things?
I'm just moving on, mate. Every time I pick up my phone at the moment, obviously I'm just seeing replays of it and that. So, what's done's done. So for me now, it's just about going ahead and trying to have a good test day in a couple of weeks, and then trying to win Sandown pretty much. So it's just moving on from that. It's obviously pretty unfortunate. Obviously not. Certainly wasn't a great end to the weekend, but yeah, we got debrief tomorrow, and then all eyes forward on to the next two.
Well, I might dive into some fan questions. So if you've just joined the live stream, this is your chance to ask Nick Percat and Brock Feeney a question about their weekend in Tassie or anything at all. We've got the cool go-kart set up in the back for Nick. You got the wicked sim set up for Brock. So I might dive into one off the back of that. Peter Robbins wants to know, Brock, can you talk about the title fight now between the teammates? I feel like it's more than just a teammate fight. We've got a few more drivers to consider when it comes to the Enduros, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously tightened up. Chaz has, closed the gap a lot over the past few rounds, but it just gives me all the confidence that we can do that as well. So I think we've dropped back to close to 200 points off Will now. So for us, though, this time of year is really sort of what's going to make or break your championship. I think for any of us, sort of top three, and Cam sort of lurking there as well. But 600 points in 2 races, that's a lot, especially when it's so close at the moment. So, I mean, as I said, my focus is just going forward, is go and try and win the next 2 and put us right back in the hunt. So that's going to be my focus. I probably don't need a championship race as much as the 2 boys ahead of me now. I could probably take a couple more risks and go for some more race wins. But by no means are we out of it. There's certainly still so much to play for. So yeah, my focus is just going to be on winning. We're trying to be in a position to fight for the win of the next 2 races, and hopefully we can put ourselves back in the hunt.
Absolutely. And given that Gold Coast and Adelaide, we know how tough those 2 joints can be as well. So plenty of points left on the board. Hey, Nick, what about your championship charge? Remember you telling me at Darwin that top 5 was your goal? You're only just, one spot outside that at the moment off the back of a good weekend in Tassie.
Yeah, it's still the aim. I think it'd be a pretty big feat for MSR and first year with them. So yeah, I think it's been a solid year so far. But like Brock said, these couple of races can either cement you where you want to be or just sink you. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Obviously, our cars were fast at Bathurst at the start of the year, and traditionally, I think they're pretty good around Sandown. So I'm quietly confident. Obviously, the team's been working well together. So yeah, I'm probably in a fortunate spot as well that you can take a little bit of risk out there on track, because the points for me, if I get a win, it really helps. But if you finish 8th in the championship versus 5th, it's not like the end of the world. You haven't thrown away the championship. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, 5th in the points with an endurance win, and all of a sudden 2024 has been a pretty successful year. All right, a couple more fan questions. Taryn wants to know, how's Sandown looking, guys? Obviously for you, Brock, a chance to go back to back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously pretty excited to head back to Sandown. It's probably one of my favorite tracks, actually. It's quite an exciting place to drive around. It's obviously a permanent track, but it's certainly feels like a street track. So lots of fun, obviously the big curbs, but for me, it's sort of just the chance of teaming up with Jamie once again, and obviously having a shot at going back to back. So yeah, we obviously had a great run there last year and then the year before I got a podium there. So I'm really excited. I really enjoy, everyone does. Everyone loves enduro season, but to get to share it with Jamie and pick his brain over these next couple of races and really hope we can get some really good points on the board and back in the fight for the rest of the year.
Yeah, what's it like having your boss as your co-driver?
Yeah.
Weird dynamic.
Yeah, obviously yeah, exactly. I feel like my biggest job is getting him out of the boss state of mind and back into a driver. So I got to pull him out of the office a little bit. And that, but no, it's
go have
it's
a few
obviously
coffees
awesome.
and stuff like that. Just
yeah,
around like a driver.
He's been out go-karting, mate. You might be able to sign him soon, actually.
Oh, good. Need a young guy.
Yeah, no, it's super cool for me just to pick his brain, and I feel like what I've taken from him over the past couple of years, driving with him has been awesome, and just the little things that you pick up on. Obviously, on a 9 to 5 on a Monday to Friday, there's probably not a heap that I can pick out of his brain, but when I'm driving with him and preparing with him for these events, there's a lot of knowledge in there that I'm trying to lure out and see what I can get.
Probably leads into this question from David Matenga pretty good. It's a bit of a two-parter. What's your favorite racetrack, which is a common one we always get, but who's your dream driver for an enduro? I feel like Brock, you probably ticked that box very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think Jamie's probably the best that you can get as a co-driver. Maybe one day Shane will come back, and I'd obviously love to pair up with him as well. But and then, I mean, I feel like everyone's gonna probably say Bathurst. It's certainly my favorite track.
Nick, you
How
started with
greedy are
Garth.
you? You want Wing Cup, and then you're like, just yeah. If SVG comes back, I'll grab him
Take
too.
him.
He'll be all right for a Cowie.
Hey Brock, I could
Yeah,
see in the
yeah.
Facebook
Yep.
stream, I can see that Russell Ingles watching. He's a former co-driver of yours.
Has he? What's going
Yeah.
on, Russ?
Throw us a question, Russ. We'll see if we can sneak it in for you. Nick, how about you, buddy? I mean, when you start with Garth as your first ever co-driver, it's pretty hard to beat that too.
Yeah, Garth was pretty speedy, wasn't he? It'd be cool to team up with Garth again, to be honest, because we sit the same seating position, so he just dives in and drives it.
Well, one of the fans in the Facebook
Yeah,
chat
I
says,
think
"What's the chances, Nick, of a Percat Tanda reunion at Matt Stone Racing?"
I tried to get him a couple of years ago when he first
On the
kind
market.
of forced retirement, I guess, at the end of GRM. I reached out straight away and I was like, what the hell will it take to get you at BJR with us? But he'd already obviously done a Red Bull deal because makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to have him on board, but I think he's pretty cemented at with Groves now. So unless I drive there, which I can't see happening, it's probably slim. But yeah, think I could get SVG because like he's my
Hey,
R2.
He's up.
You can't just man. I think it would be very cool. Like I'm probably a little bit envious of Brock to have someone like Jamie drive the car because like it's the experience there and the lap speed he has. Like I feel sorry for the co-drivers. It's like, oh, who you on the grid against? Oh, Wing Cup, who's been dominant at Sandown, dominant at Bathurst, and if we go back to Gold Coast at any point, like my God, like it's pretty handy.
It was quite hard at the test day because we gave him quite a bit of laps, and he'd go out and do like a run or a few runs, and then they'd get me back at the end of baseline, and I had to lay heaters down to like I'd be able to just pip him, but I'm like driving for my life out there, making sure that I can stay in front of my co-driver.
There's a good question here from Cara for you, Brock, which is, what's your dream for the future? Now, I'm going to take you back to 16-year-old Brock Feeney, who was filling out his Toyota 86 get to know you form. And when it came to what's your ambition for the future, most kids would write, I want to race in supercars, I want to do World Endurance Championship, or whatever it might be. Brock's answer was, I want to be world champion, which I just thought was the sickest answer ever. It's like, world champion, nothing less.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna achieve. Like, I might have to pick up another sport or something. I don't think you can become a supercar champion of the world. But yeah, I suppose obviously my goal is to win a supercars championship and hopefully hopefully try and win a couple of those. But for me, I'm not really looking too far down the track. Yeah, my goal's certainly out here, supercars, Bathurst. I don't know. You'll have to give me some pointers, Chad. I don't know how I'm going to get this world championship, but I think that's a cool thing in sport to obviously watch lots of sport and everything, but to say you're the best at the world at what you do is obviously pretty awesome, and I
Sim
think that'd
racing.
be a great feeling as a sport person. And in motor racing, it's quite hard because there's so many different categories in that, so there's not many that are actually classed as a world champion. But maybe I'll have to pick up I don't know, table tennis or something, you know. Nah, I'm no good at
Mate,
that.
you are
but-
not winning a table tennis world
No,
champion.
I'm not. No, much better chance at anything else.
I feel like
You're on
if
a
the
sim,
American
Sign up.
if the Americans
I'm
can
not that
claim
good.
like the baseball or the basketball or they're like
Yeah,
the Bellas being a world champions, and we should be able to do the same with supercars.
Supercars World Championship.
Yeah, so Jamie's a 7-time world champion at supercars.
Yeah, exactly. He probably deserves it. He does
God.
deserve it.
True. I don't think anyone in the world was going to beat him at that time. This is an easy one. Joe Gregory wants to know what's Nelson having for dinner tonight, Nick? What's
Well,
the go-to food?
our dearest Nelson has a sensitive stomach these days. So he,
Oh,
what day is it? It's Wednesday. No, he used to have Monday night steak night with his
oof.
biscuits. But now he's on some special bloody dog food to make sure he doesn't get a little bit sick. So it's a pain in the ass. But he'll just be having his dog biscuits, and they're like some bird feather protein. Like it's just the dog's a joke. is a joke. He's great.
They're absolute money pits, aren't they? Jake Burton, here we go,
Yep.
former BJR E-Series driver, wants to know what's your go-to car on iRacing, Brock? What are you most hitting up?
Ooh. I do a lot of the Porsche Carrera Cup series on iRacing and the GT3 series. So I pretty much just do those two. So the GT obviously can swap cars in that quite a bit. So
Yeah.
just whatever's fast on the week. And then my favorite's the Carrera Cup car. I feel like on the sim, it's probably the most like our Gen 3.
Yeah.
How it handles and the locking up and everything like that. It's probably the closest thing to what we drive. So I enjoy driving that.
Is that the Dave Delta series? That one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a crack on that. I'm not as quick, it's fair to say.
They're hard. They're hard.
Here we go. Someone's decided to ask a question about Tassie, which is nice. Taryn, thank you for this one. Nick, how was the win on the weekend? How did you guys celebrate that one? Is it harder when you win on the first day because you can't really celebrate it?
Yeah, it's my sponsor group of TES and stuff like that. They fully went big. They got it done. They celebrated for me. But yeah, obviously, yeah, you celebrate with the boys in the garage and reminisce a bit about it. But then obviously, yeah, it's straight into the business again on Sunday. And I said to Matt, I'm like, kind of wish we won on Sunday because this is before qualifying. I'm like, because if we get this wrong, we just look like idiots now on Sunday because you go from hero to zero. So then we did that, and then we pulled ourselves out the trenches back to seventh. So yeah, but anytime you have a win, I know Matt would have and the boys probably had a few quiet drinks and on Sunday night, and yeah, you kind of put it in the memory bank for probably when we get to Gold Coast or something, can enjoy it there as a group.
Here's one from Brendan Corlett. What did you guys think of New Zealand this year? Looking forward to heading back there next year. Brock, you were really quick at Topor.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just awesome to be back in NZ. I mean, the fans over there are so much fun. They're awesome. Like, and I think obviously not being there for a few years and going back was really cool. And the tractor town there was probably the best one we've had so far. The amount of people that lined it from the track into the city centre was awesome. So yeah, keen as to go back next year and go again. And yeah, we had a pretty good battle there, me and my teammates. So that was good. And the rain, I mean, to see all the fans just stick it out up on the hill, like it was freezing and absolutely pissing down to sit up there all day and still watch us and Andre winning's obviously pretty cool for the Kiwis. So yeah, looking forward to getting back for sure.
Yeah, that was a pretty special one. I cannot wait to get back there. I just thought in general that whole area, even the drive down from Auckland Airport to Topor was pretty cool as well. I've got a good one here a moment ago. I've just lost it a second ago. See if I can go back. Here we go from Nick. He wants to know, Nick, what were you telling yourself when you saw Mozzie starting to hunt you down on Saturday? That was he came at you at a pretty rapid rate of knots too with that extra tire.
I was excited for it. I felt like I'd managed my tire pretty well up to that point. And our car was really good at the end of the stint. So I was pretty confident that I would be able to hold him off. So yeah, I was excited for the battle because I was like, I think we said in the press conference, I'm like, we're probably going to wind back the clock to like 2012 and have some crazy Super 2 spec battle, which would have been awesome. And I'm sure we'll get another day. But yeah, I was pretty confident that we had a really good car at the hairpin, and that's where his car was good with his 3 tires as well. So I was probably the only one in the field that could nearly run that narrow line like him. So he wouldn't get the advantage on me that he would on when I watch it back, watching against Brock and Cam and stuff. So yeah, it was. I thought it was gonna be fun, and I didn't realize how quick he kind of got through to Cam and then to the back of Brock, because I probably would have tried to extend my gap a little bit earlier. But that was it was all good. It was fun. He's a great racer. Obviously, everyone at the front races hard, and good thing with Chaz, he races you really, really hard, but it's 9 times out of 10 really fair, and normally comes with a big dive bomb and stuff like what he did on Brock. So I was excited for
it. Do you guys always watch the races back? Is that like part of debrief?
I used to watch them all the time, but not so much anymore.
Just more curious. This is actually quite a good question from Sam Taylor. It says, Brock, unlucky end of the weekend, mate. Wants to know when a car locks up like that and you get tagged, do you hear it coming or does it sort of get you by complete surprise? I'm quite curious about that myself. Do you have any warning signs when something like that happens?
No, I had no idea that it was about to happen. Will actually, I think he locked the rears or front. So Will was actually going wide and I'd actually cut down to pass Will. So I've just sort of turned in and yeah, went spinning.
Yeah, right.
And then it was the hard decision of do I go right or go left. But as Tom sort of kept driving around, he sort of I it was hard because I'm looking at the embankment. If I go right and get stuck, well, there's 0 points. And then Tom tapped me again, and I spun around and obviously got going again. But yeah, I suppose because I was so focused on passing Will at that corner, yeah, got caught out. And there's nothing you can do though. Like even if I did see him, the only way that I probably don't get hit is just crashing into Will to get further ahead. But yeah, that's not really an option.
Yeah, so it's almost double whammy. You were just about to maybe even get him on that lap as well. So
Yeah, I was yeah set. Well, yeah, I think I would have had him, and then yeah,
Yeah.
went back 10 spots.
All right. Well, we've been going for a while here, so I might wrap this up in a second. But there's been one or two comments asking about the terribly sad news today about Campbell Little, which we've only really just found out ourselves. And for those who don't know, Campbell was working with supercars, but before that was one of the mainstay engineering guys, like a hugely successful career at Triple Eight, engineering the likes of Craig Lowndes, and has worked with Roland Dane for a number of years. And so Brock, I imagine today, and even though it's really fresh, this news, it would be a pretty sad day for the whole Triple Eight family, I imagine.
Yeah, it is for sure, Chad. I only found out about 5 minutes before we jumped on here, and yeah, it's terrible. Like it comes to a shock. We know he hasn't been super well recently, but to hear that he's passed away is terrible news. So my dad knew him for a while, so even before I got into car racing, had a bit to do with Campbell and did some simulator stuff with him and obviously seen him around supercars. But yeah, it's a terrible loss for the sport. He was a great guy. He's always happy to chat and talk to you in the pits and yeah, it's a terrible day for supercars and Triple Eight as well. So yeah, just thoughts with his family and friends and everyone that obviously had the privilege to know Campbell and that, and yeah, terrible news.
Yeah, well said, mate. Well handled. It is exactly that, and we send all our love to Campbell's family. He's going to be really missed in the paddock and certainly missed in the commentary box behind the scenes where he's been working with us this year. Guys, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who sent in some questions. I was literally trying to scroll and keep up to date with them. Lots of positivity there, lots of really interesting stuff, lots of stuff that's completely irrelevant, which is always fun as well when you have these little chats too. Just some off-Broadway stuff. Nick, best of luck with the karts, mate, when you get back out on track.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And Brock, go light up a Porsche session, mate, and slam out some.
Yeah, I'll go. There's one in 15 minutes, so I'll
Perfect.
just now I'm
We
here.
wrap this up nicely.
Now,
All right, guys.
now I'm here, he says.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well done, fellas. Thank you very much for your
Thanks,
time.
guys.
And
Cheers.
we'll catch up soon.